The Sea Peoples and the Philistines. Episode 7. The Shekelesh. Michelle McLaren. The Sea Peoples group known as the Shekelesh are one of the less well-known and obscure groups. Not much is known about them, and they are only mentioned in passing in the ancient texts, such as the annals of Ramesses III from his mortuary temple at Medinet Habu and the Ugaritic Texts. The group is also mentioned in the el-Ahmar Stele from the reign of Merneptah, but what we do know of this group is quite impressive, and the Shekelesh officially make an appearance around 1220 BCE, attacking Egypt, and again in 1186 BCE, invading the Delta. It appears that, although not much is said on this group of people, that they were still a force to be reckoned with. One of the earliest accounts of the Shekelesh occurs early in the reign of the pharaoh Merneptah. In the beginning of his 5th year of rule, the pharaoh had to face off with a Libyan invasion, a victory he boasts of in his annals at Karnak. When Merneptah confronted his enemy, he not only faced one hostile tribe, but an alliance of Sea People groups, which consisted of the Meshwesh, the people of the island Kos, and the Lycians, who were the major forces, and urged smaller tribes like the Shardana, Tricenoi, and the Shekelesh to assist in the fight against the Egyptians. When the two armies met, the Egyptians, who had suffered major losses, essentially slaughtered over 9,000 members of the Sea Peoples coalition. Merneptah records that he took hundreds of prisoners, and he claims to have taken 222 Shekelesh warriors prisoner among the ranks of those taken. Years later, Ramesses III would finish the job that Merneptah began and completely wipe out the Sea Peoples, or so he tells us. He would enjoy a much more complete victory over the Labu, who in their attack of Ramesses III did not have the time or opportunity to call up the coalition that Merneptah had faced. Ramesses gives us an account of his victory in the Harris Papyrus. See, I, Ramesses III, destroyed them and slew them at one stroke. I overthrew them, felled them in their own blood, and turned them into heaps of corpses. I turned them back from treading the frontier of Egypt. I brought the rest, as numerous prisoners, pinioned like fowl before my horses, and their wives and children by tens of thousands. Although Ramesses III gives the impression that he has completely eradicated the enemy, the Sea People groups were still a major threat in the Mediterranean. The Harris Papyrus is also an important account because it seems to indicate that the Shekelesh were used as garrison forces and mercenaries by Ramesses III, along with other Sea People groups. The reliefs and inscriptions at Medinet Habu are the most famous and well-known source for references to the Sea Peoples. The annals here give the most detailed account of the Sea Peoples, but only mention the Shekelesh briefly. However, we are able to get a glimpse of what a Shekelesh soldier would have looked like and what accoutrements accompanied him into battle. Of the others, the Shekelesh and the Teresh, wear cloth headdresses and a medallion on their breasts, and carry 2 spears and a round shield. Their place of origin has been considered to be Sagalassos in Pisidia. Some scholars, such as N.K. Sandars, believe that the Shekelesh came from southeastern Sicily. In the 8th century, Greek colonists came across a group of people known as the Sickles on the land, which they believed had come from Italy after the Trojan War. The Medinet Habu relief depicts a Shekelesh prince who is shown bearded, with a thin, prominent nose and a swept-back turban, which some scholars believe to be hair. Although not much is known about the Shekelesh, it is clear that they were an important element in the invasion of the Sea Peoples and played an important role in the military conquests of the coalition. I view this group as a strong and proud group of people, despite the fact that they are a more or less obscure group, mentioned infrequently in ancient texts.